London based.
Jamaican bassline. Deadly.
This is Deadly Links.
Jo Mersa Marley, welcome to Deadly Links. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, give thanks. Thank you for having me on Deadly Links.
It is a pleasure. So talk to me about this new EP. So fire. Congratulations on the release. It feels to me like you've really refined your sound and you've really stepped into your flow and who you are as an artist. Does it feel like that for you?
Yeah. In a sense, you could say so. I think you could hear the growth in my overall artistry and the music. So yeah, I would say so as well.
How does it feel to have it out and have people hearing it and giving you feedback?
Wonderful. I'm grateful for everything. Words can't explain it. It's a vibe, man. It's a vibe. To be able to release music in this time and stuff for people that relates to them in whichever song that relates to them or the whole project, and just it's a vibe. It's a vibe.
It is a vibe. So when did you start this project and how long were you working on it for? I'm guessing it was all through COVID.
Started this project actually mid-summer last year. So it originally started as a mixtape and turned into the EP. We worked with like Silent Addy, we worked with Jazzwad, the legendary producer. I worked with my cousin Soul Marley. I worked with Lamar Riffraff Brown, a very talented producer as well, a keyboardist. And we also produced one together, me and Lamar. So yeah, that it would be 7 tracks on it as well. So yeah, it started out with just freestyles. Then I did the tune Yo Dog, and then after we do Yo Dog, it was just like, all right, let's I'm just voicing. So it was just like, let's just turn it into a project. Let's let it out. Let's give it to people. And it was more of a scrimmage, and it was more club ball than league ball. You know what I mean? So they flex my lyrical prowess, I guess, and you know what I mean? Didn't give myself things that were too deep or too depthy to sing about. Just wanted people to relate to simple, just have fun. Especially in these times, I think fun and a peace of mind and certain freedom is very important and is a part of our sanity. So if we don't have that, then I see more and more things happening if we don't figure out a way to enjoy ourselves. And music is one of those outlets. So that's as well another beautiful thing. So
absolutely. And you asked me off mic before we started chatting what my favourite track was on the EP. Mm-hmm. What do you think it is? Guess. What's your favourite? And what do you think my favourite is?
Made It, featuring Kabaka.
Jeez! Spot on. Listen, Made It. Do you know how many times I listen to that in a day? And when I'm not listening to it, I'm singing it. You've captured that feeling of getting good news and celebrating, and that feeling of elation, when you get the job, or I don't know, you're going on holiday the next day, or it's the last day of school before summer. It's like that feeling that you guys have just captured so perfectly. So talk to me about this tune. How did it come about? What was the inspiration? Why did you want Kabaka on it?
Well, Silent Addy and Bumbucket and Silent Addy and Disco Neil, that whole Bashment crew there, had given me the rhythm at first, and the rhythm actually was named Made It. So that kind of started out the concept, and then I started messing around with some ideas, and then I started saying I wanted it to be something very relatable where hardworking people can relate to. Your side hustle doesn't determine what your main passion is. So don't ever that was one of the things as well too. It kind of people who have a 9 to 5, but you hear they want to be musicians or footballers or such forth, designers and such forth and such forth. But they work at your local supermarket where them hate working at. And, you know, it's like that whole thing there, you know. I wondered how my grandfather told the steel mill that he's quitting, and he's saying, boy, 3 Little Birds is doing well on the radio, you know. So things like that was like the thought process. And while I was there with a feature space, I was thinking of Kabaka as the feature. And right as my lady, I think of him, he walks through the door and he was, yo, what's up, though? And start reasoning about the tune, and him say, yeah, man, all right, is that verse space mine? I'm say, yeah. He went in the studio and him do him thing within 5 minutes. His whole verse, ad libs, everything. Man, real lyrical god, you know. Brother,
he really is. You can trust Kabaka on any track, right? You trust it. He's gonna go in. He's gonna tear the place up, and there's just gonna be wordplay. Yeah.
Always deliver, that brother there. Not a normal person. Not a normal artist.
Yeah, right.
Not a normal artist.
Wow, so he did it all in 5 minutes. That's a bit mad.
Yeah, wrote it on spot. I still up to this day remember me being surprised because I sat there with a verse for maybe like an hour or two. So when he came in and he's going there and one of the lines that first struck me was when he said, so we're gonna lead everything green like banana leaf. And I was like, wow, how come I couldn't think of that? so I was like, bro, I wish I thought of that. And you know, cracking up same way, and them things there, you know, iron sharp iron too. So when hearing that too, it just made me go home and read a little bit more and want to write some new music and kind of mess with more wordplay. It inspired me to want, you know, start back afresh again.
That's the beauty of working with all these different types of artists, isn't it? Just keep you motivated to keep pushing.
Word.
And the EP also features Busy Signal.
Yes, it features
one
Busy.
of my favorites, yeah. And I know you're a massive fan of Busy, so yeah. How did that link up happen, and what was it like being in the studio with him?
Well, Uncle Damien played a major part in that, actually. He had to facilitate it. They were working on some stuff in Miami here together. Busy was just like, boy, let me hear 2 tunes. And I played him that one first. I was a little bit, I had to keep telling myself, say, boy, compose yourself. Don't be over nervous, or don't make that nervousness show, because you don't know. It's somebody where you're influenced by. He's like an uncle in a certain sense. So it's like when you're playing something, it to me it was more like, well, I wonder what I'm going to say, or what is he going to. I hope nothing don't stick. I hope nothing don't stick out that he won't like, or you know, like them type of things there. And I was surprised when I heard him say, boy, you want a feature on this. I was like, oh shit, really? Yeah, I was just really excited. He didn't do his verse here in Miami. He did it in Jamaica, actually. I wish I was there. And as well as you said to him, I look up to Busy from a long time, from my youth, you know, from Alliance days. So just having an artist, this will be my second artist from Alliance. I've worked with Wayne Marshall before on a Comfortable remix, which was also like a check for me. I just check off of the box and then I say, all right, Busy Signal. And next check outside of the family and stuff like that. Like, you know, artists that I've always wanted to work with are I'm so inspired by and would love to do a tune or feature on a project, whatever. You know what I mean? Just even be in the studio and just say, boy, you don't that word or that was flat, or just something just to be around in that environment is always a blessing to me. It was really I guess you would say it was really like an inspiring moment, an even more inspiring moment getting Busy on the track.
So how come you wanted to do an EP and a mixtape as opposed to a studio album?
Well, that's the thing. I'm still working on a studio album where I'm still a full LP. it's like a break for me. It was like a break off of, get my mind off of the LP for a little bit, because a lot of the mixing stages, enough time. One of my problems is when I sit down with something too long, then I start picking through. I start getting picky, and it's I don't say that word right, or I don't like how the snare sound no more, or I don't like how the kick or the mix or so I noticed that I had to get my mind off it, because the longer I stayed on it dragged out, I guess,
And you mentioned your uncle Damian Marley helping out on the Getting Busy on that track. How much input did your family and your elders have, or even not even input, but advice? Do you play it to everyone in the family? Like, how does it work?
Of course. Well, in all honesty, the first person the first set of people that I tried to let it go through or listen through is my father, because majority of the project was recorded at my father's studio. My father listened. I'd let my uncle Damien, my aunt Sidella, my wife, and my daughter Sunshine. I know I'd get more experienced advice from the first three. And my wife always has some good advice as well. And she'd say something where I'd be like, oh wow, I never thought of it like that way. And with my daughter, if she's singing it the melody, then I'm happy. If she's telling me daddy change it, then I got a problem. I need to fix up.
How old is she?
She's 5.
Wow, so that's an honest age. At 5, they'll be like, I don't like this, turn it off.
Yeah, she's very, very honest. She's very
But good feedback from her.
But yeah, so that's the most important part.
That's lucky.
Yeah, man. She's singing it and so she like it, and she tell me more music, I know, say yeah, all right, I'm doing good. I'm in the right direction. As long as she like it, I'm happy.
That must be the best feeling.
Yeah, man, it is.
Oh, I feel like with you, you're always in good company, always. And I saw you went on tour with Lauryn Hill a couple of years ago for her Miseducation 20th anniversary tour. What was that experience like?
Oh man, I just made sure during when she's doing sound check, I made sure that I'm there. I became a sponge. I became a sponge again. So that was it, where aside from being privileged to as a youth, we're just being around her as well as my aunt and such forth. It was different, where as a grown man now and doing the same music now, watching the craft and how she goes about it, and what is exactly put in, and it just bust a next bag of influence, and I started listening back to certain old singers and some of them little things there, you know what I mean, and kind of get the creative energy flowing again and such forth. So yeah, it was crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It was a great teaching moment, and not only with Lauryn, when I got to watch Buster, I get to watch first time watching Dave East. He's also a dope rapper. I rate him too.
And MIA, was she on it when you were there as well?
Oh yeah, man. She full of energy.
Mad.
Them MIA, Jaja, her performance them sick. Her performances are sick, yeah. Her MIA. I had to even with she, I did have to make sure some my zone in to come and say, boy, every what you would say it now. Her style just different. And I just wanted to, outside of hearing it over the radio or listening it and my speakers are such for it, hearing it, actually witnessing the performance is a magical thing. So I'm thinking about it. I can't lie. I was stoked.
Gosh, what a crazy training ground you've had in life. Just hearing you say like Auntie Lauryn and yeah, Uncle Damien and like all these greats around you. that's just the best way to learn, isn't it?
I'm privileged. I'm grateful. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for that. I can't complain. Can't complain.
So taking it back to the early days when you were first starting out, I saw like your early songs, you would refer to yourself as just Jo Mersa, and then a little bit later on you added the Marley on the end. Why was that? Was it important for you to find your own identity as an artist first of all?
Oh wow, that's wow, Becca. Jaja, I usually tell people that. I've probably not asked that before. Oh wow.
Oh really?
No. Wow. Yeah. In the beginning, I wanted to just be known as an artist. I didn't want to be. I wanted you to respect me for my music. I didn't want it just to be, oh, all right. It's Bob's grandson. Let make we hear where am I going with. I didn't want that. I never want that. I wanted more of the respect from the music. And later on, they ended up saying that people from the industry side were saying, boy, put on your last name. What's wrong? Why your name not on it? And I'd tell them and they would say, oh, that's not gonna work or something. And it was one time when I sat down with my uncle Ziggy, and he said, Mr. Mersa, you're running away from yourself, man. And I started laughing. So why you not putting on in there? And I'm saying, yeah, it's good people know you for your music, but that is you. That's you as well. Them, it's a part of it, So him tell me, say, when him said that to me, I was more open-minded to it after. And I wanted to do it later on, like if respectfully in that sense, but I never did want. At the time I started doing it, until he said something, I wasn't for it. You know what I mean? I wanted my respect as a musician, as an artist, as a lyricist. I didn't want people just to say, boy, a Bob family, a Steve's son, them grow up around them just have these things. You know what I mean? As well too, it's not like saying that as well, my father used to, and my uncle them, I'd have to work to get in the studio. It wasn't just because I'm around it, or my father would always make a point for tell us that it's not because you're my children means that you need to do music or you're going to the music. You know what I mean? We had to study up, we have to know about my Pro Tools. I was why it would say no. We used to be rolling up quarter jacks and having cleanup duty in the studio and that type of stuff, and paying our dues in that sense. We'd have to sit down and watch the engineer before we even can touch a mic or know what inputs and such forth. So them things there as well played those parts in it. And when I guess as well to just wanting to prove myself without my last name being attached.
I get that. I think at this point, you've definitely proved that you are a good artist in your own right, regardless of whatever your name is. So you're good, man. You're good.
Thanks.
I can imagine you probably get asked all the time, like, how much pressure do you feel being, the grandson of Bob Marley, the son of Grammy Award-winning Stephen Marley? Like, do you get asked that all the time? Like the pressure side of things. So how does it feel when people ask you that? I'm not asking you that. I'm asking how it makes you feel. Just to be clear.
No, it's become a regular thing. So it's nothing. It's my father. It's my family. It's before everything else. I just look at him as pops. So and grandpa. So it just ends there to me. I don't know. I don't know a better way for explain it. You know what I mean? And I've never felt anyway because it's the truth.
But also, I can see why people ask that, but at the end of the day, you are carrying on the incredible legacy of Bob Marley and the whole Marley family. But it's not just you, right? So that's where the pressure sort of goes away for me. It's like there's a whole family of musicians who have just got each other's back and are doing it together in a big, talented, incredible family. So
Yeah, man.
pressure is not a thing, is it? It's a joint effort.
You could say so. I don't think any of us are pressured personally. I think we'd all probably laugh. I think that'd be something we laugh at if like someone had asked, if we were all in the same room and someone had asked us that. But yeah, do you think we're pressured by it?
No, I don't think so, because there's so many of you. I think if it was just one person, if there was just one son carrying on the legacy, I feel like maybe there's a bit more pressure there to be like you've got the task of keeping the Bob Marley name. Do you know what I mean? But I think there's something so beautiful in that there's so many sons and grandchildren, and like they can all just do it together, and it's
I don't know. I've never been pressured by it. I've always it's family first. Everyone has an expectation, I guess, right? Whereas or not everyone, but you do have a set of people where directly want to do everything just like Bob in that type of sense, and to meet that standard, and that expectation. But even with that being said, so it's never been pressured. It's always been more of a reminder, I think, for us to go hard, and Grandpa didn't take no breaks.
Inspiration, not pressure. But I do wonder what school days were like for you. I guess everyone probably knew who your family were, who your granddad was, who your dad was. So yeah, what were the school days like?
In all honesty, I was one of those kids where I'd tell you no, I'm not related to them, and I guess where the truth would come out is when you'd see like my dad come pick me up at the end of the day or something. But I'd used to be that type of person where I kind of found it fun, I guess, and then sometimes I'd always hear about the herb first, so I didn't always want that to be a topic within the school and where I am in that type of sense, The herb was just one part of it. It wasn't the significant part of being a Marley or being Bob's grandson or Steve's son. But you would always hear those things come up in a very, was young, so it's every minute is a joke, or it's a this, or it's a that, or something brought forward in an inappropriate way. So I'd always find it funny to say, boy, no, but you have a Jamaican accent, so every Jamaican is a Marley and stuff like that. So I'd always poke fun, I guess. But it was good growing up. School, it was good growing up. You'd get the occasional, how is it to be a Rastafarian, or how is it to be Bob's grandson or Steve's son, or even some of the schools I went to. For example, in Miami here, I went to a public school, and I remember a lot of the kids saying that, "Oh, why are you going to this school? You're a Marley." And I said, "That's exactly why I'm coming to this school. This is it for me. This is where it's at." So it's just I don't know, man. There was no pressure. It was just fun, and I guess you saw a lot of curiosity in people wondering. And I think I gave a little mystery with it as well by saying no, or whoever caught my father, my family members picking me up, or whoever caught wind of the truth, or if a teacher, it's usually a teacher who'd sell me out,
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's usually a teacher. It's usually a teacher. It's usually, oh yeah, that's Bob's grandson, and we have Bob's grandson in our class. So
And you're like, bro, trying to keep a low
yeah,
profile here.
it's don't know, man. I want to make friends without hearing the bad part sometimes. So it was one of those things.
I get that. Was there a moment when you realised, and I'm guessing this must have been at a very young age, exactly how powerful your family were? Because I remember talking to Zana Romeo, and she was saying, obviously Max Romeo's her dad, she didn't realise exactly how big he was until she was grown and she went on tour with him, and it was an international tour. They went all around Europe, and she said she never knew, she just thought he was big in Jamaica, and then that was when she realised how powerful his music was. So yeah, how was it for you?
Yeah, man, I agree. What I can say from a younger age, the music is what first got to me. I remember listening to No Woman No Cry sometimes, and for some reason I remember my mom would always start crying, and she just said, "Boy, for some reason that song always made me cry." It just, as much as it said No Woman No Cry, it always made her tear up. Growing up, so even that, it started, I guess that effect started catching on with me. And then I always say, boy, how come these songs, certain songs, I always notice certain songs made me feel away. And evoke certain emotions out of me from grandpa. And then growing up where I had a full understanding is where I started understanding the lyrics. And paying more attention to that in depth, and as well, touring played a part, yes, because I've seen how much people it's also impacted, and it's a magical moment when you hear someone come, or when I'm sitting there as a young youth and watching my father and perform, or at the end of the show, and you'd hear someone that'll come to them and say, this song helped me get through this. Or when your dad put out Survival, for example, I love this song from him because a redemption song, what it meant to me, and hearing those things and listening to people's interpretation of the music and how it related to them, just all of those things slowly came from one thing to the next, where I just, as I grew up and started getting more in depth, learning more about it, it just started to, it just hit me, where it's like, boy, grandpa is the greatest. And he's a messenger. He came to deliver a message. Him say, one day when his work is done, he will fly away home. And I think him do exactly that.
So going full circle to today, is there anybody that you are absolutely dying to work with or living to work with?
Oh, wow. You have enough people. That's yeah, a handful.
Who's on the list?
The list?
Give me three.
Three? Ja. I like to work with gigs. I'd like to work with...
Sick. Wasn't expecting that.
I like to work with Toby Wigwe. This artist from out in Houston. He's a rapper.
Yeah, he's sick.
I'd like to work with Martima as well. I like to work with Lila Ike. I like to work with... Oh, that's more than three. You see? That's what I'm telling you. It's going to be hard.
I wasn't going to stop you.
Enough artists, man. Enough artists. Protege them. I'd like to do a tune with him. You have enough artists, man. I say Marty Mechanics. I'd like to do a tune with... Who else now? You have a youth named Jati, whom I like to work with, or Runkus them. You have enough artists. That's Popcorn, and you have enough artists whom I respect. Skilly Bang. And you know, enough artists who I respect and I would love to work with them, you know what I mean? And I guess that's outside of my family, the family members that I have worked with. I still haven't done a song with my Uncle Ziggy yet. Me and Daniel have to follow up with something. Me and Skip have a tune that's going to come out on the album, the LP. I guess I shouldn't, maybe I should, yeah. But so enough, you know, it's just enough. There's a lot of artists I would want to work with. I think it would take up most of this interview.
Jeez. All right, well, hold tight for the album. And a pleasure chatting to you, Jo Mersa Marley. You have a very infectious laugh and smile and vibe about you. And yeah, it's been a pleasure getting to know you.
I give thanks. It was a pleasure getting to do the interview. Pleasure knowing you too. Can't wait to meet you in person. See you?
Deadly Links.